first time I looked through a telescope was at my cousin's house, and I remember looking down into the eyepiece, and I could actually see a star, the real thing, and it just blew my mind. And there's just something about it that captivated me, and just took off from there.
So there's the observatory, and you see that like little track off to the left. That's where the roof goes whenever I want to look. So this looks like a regular shed, and you'll see in a minute how it opens up. So this is inside the observatory, and there's the roof being open.
I'll roll the roof.
And you can see the telescope.
Turn on a couple buttons, calibrate a few things, and ready to go. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is fire up the telescope. We'll do that with a switch back here. Makes kind of a cool sound. It's gonna go through a few startup noises.
So this telescope is all computer controlled. You can see me there.
Telescope is not homed. Do I want to find home?
I don't normally sit out there because it gets cold in the
Telescope
winter and
is
there's
going
a
to
lot
go
of
seek
sun
its home
in the
location.
summer, but I control everything from in the house. And the telescope, you pretty much tell it what you want to look at, and it will go and find that object. Like if you want to look at Saturn, you would just say, go find Saturn, and it will do that.
So this is our raw image, one of them, and we have processed a number of those. But it's going to look a lot better after more processing that we have done in Photoshop. And we bring us here, which to most people looks a lot cooler, a lot more color.
So that's the Orion Nebula. It's actually a birthplace of stars.
This is actually the
all of that, like fuzzy gas there, is basically condensing. It's going to form new stars, but it takes millions of years. There you can see the roof open and getting ready. It's starting to get dark. And you'll see a night vision view right here.
When you're talking about space, it's just unfathomable how the distances involved. Think about, there's a billion other galaxies, conservatively, billions of other galaxies with billions of stars. And just, there's so much out there. And where did it come from? Why should it be here? Why is it here at all? Where did these elements come from? It just blows my mind. Your mind kind of, like a computer blue screens, my mind blue screens when I start thinking about where everything came from and why should it even be here?
That's another birthplace of stars, that cloud of gas and the stars in the middle. That there is the Andromeda Galaxy. That's our nearest neighbor. So that's pretty much it for the video. So that gives you a little bit of background on the observatory and what it looks like.
Oh, whoops. Exit full screen. There we go. And I was going to...
Can you bring up the slides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, whoops. Stop. Okay.
Yeah, computers are great when they work.
Yeah.
So you guys, as you're, he's going to open it up to questions in a few minutes. So you should think as you're listening, if you think of any questions, you can either put them in the chat or just raise your hand.
Yeah, any question you have, I can't claim to know all the answers, but I'll do my best.
So for Mr. Dole's students, I just put this together with pictures that Joe took that he let me use. And as we go through some slides, just to give you some examples of what he's photographed from his observatory, he'll explain a little bit more about what you're seeing. And then if you have questions, you can be asking questions too. Okay?
Sure. All right, let me,
Am I sharing my screen? Sorry.
Yep.
what did I just do?
Okay.
Trying to get, there we are. Something happened. Where am I? Can you, oh, there you go. Why are you small?
So for Mr. Dole's students, Mr. Joe and I grew up together. Our dads were friends as kids, and so our families grew up together. And he actually graduated from high school from Minnechaug with Miss Belize, who was here during the last chat that we had with Joe. So there's a double connection to Whitebrook with our guest today. Okay, should I?
Go ahead.
I
don't see the slides yet, but.
Am I sharing you guys? I don't know.
I don't see them.
Sharing.
I see you.
Mr. Dole, do you see them?
Nope.
Oh, so maybe I'm not sharing my screen.
Yeah, you're not sharing yet.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Sorry, you guys.
If it doesn't come up, I can bring something up. I'm going there now.
Oh, here it goes. There
Sorry.
you go.
All right. Now if I can get back to where you are.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look at this picture here that you see on your screen. That thing, it kind of looks like a flying saucer. That is actually another galaxy. So our sun is one star of several hundred billion stars in our own galaxy. So a galaxy is just a collection of stars that rotate around a common center. They're all gravitationally bound, so they rotate around the center. So our sun takes about, our galaxy takes about 200 million years to spin around once. So you think of a year, our Earth takes 1 year to go around our sun. Our sun takes 200 million years to go around the galaxy. But this galaxy you're seeing here is kind of what we would look like if you could see from a very far distance. And to give you an idea of the distance, this galaxy here that you're seeing is about 40 million light years away. So that means if I took that picture last night, the light that came into my camera left that galaxy 40 million years ago. And the Earth was vastly different at that time. There were no humans running around. There was life, but it was incredibly different than what you would see, what you see today. So, and that's a fairly nearby galaxy. So the stars you see in there
Oh, sorry.
are ones you see in our galaxy. In other words, and if you look above there, you'll see like another fuzzy little patch up to right about there. That is another galaxy that's further out in the distance. But all the things that look like dots, those are stars within our galaxy. So those, even though they're very far away, they're incredibly close to us compared to that galaxy. All right, so you can go down to the next slide. So this is a picture of the moon I took. And these are, with today's technology, these are really easy to take. But I do get questions about, people want to know, can you see the Apollo landers? Or can you see the flag on the moon? And the answer is not even Hubble can see those because they're just too small. Hubble could see something probably about the size of, say, a Kmart store or, I don't know, a Walmart, something like that. It would just look like a dot. But due to the laws of physics and the wavelength and nature of light, it's just too small for even Hubble to see. My telescope could see something about the size of a football stadium on the moon under the best conditions. But again, it would just look like a dot. You're not going to see people running around. Because even though the moon is pretty close, it's still, roughly 250,000 miles out, which is very, very close by astronomical standards. All right. So this picture here, this is another galaxy, relatively close to us. Now, 21 million light years away is, in human terms, is unbelievably far away. But in terms of galaxies, this one's in kind of in our neighborhood. If you think of where you live, you have You have houses and streets. You can think of like if your house, this galaxy is going to be like in the next town over, where other galaxies would be across the world. That's, you know, relatively how far away they are. So this one here is oriented a little different than the previous one you saw. And that's why it looks kind of like, they call this one the pinwheel galaxy, because it kind of looks like a pinwheel. And I took that one pretty recently.
This one was just our connection to Joe
Yep.
with Miss Belize and myself. Whoops.
Yeah, we were classmates back in the day.
Wait a minute, I went too far.
Oh, there are the telescopes.
Okay, so in my observatory, this is when the one on the right is when I first built it. That's a fairly old telescope from the 70s. I still have it, but the one I have in there is much more modern, and that one you see there is not computer controlled. It's too old of a technology. The newer one I have,